and welcome to this installment of Frank and Mary on Nantucket. My name's Art Bergeron. If you haven't been with us before, I'm an elder law attorney. I work at a firm called Myrick O'Connell. There are actually 70 of us. We're the biggest law firm outside of the city of Boston that's in Massachusetts. But I do nothing but elder law. The purpose of these shows, though, has nothing to do with elder law and everything about my friends Frank and Mary. If you've been to any of my presentations, you know that they're my senior couple whose goal is to live in their house until they die and be buried in the backyard. And if that's in Nantucket, that means they also want to stay on Nantucket until they die. So the question is, if you're Frank and Mary, what are the programs you need to know about? Who are the people you need to know in order to live happily in Nantucket until you die? Although my friend Alison who's been here a long time, keeps telling me, stop saying in Nantucket. You're supposed to say on Nantucket, but I'm getting better. I'm working on this. This is slow. So anyway, you know, very few people know me. Everybody knows Alison, my friend Alison Forsgren, who's been kind enough to be my co-host on this show, mainly because I don't know anybody and she knows everybody. So she invites these great guests, and she's got a great one today. Alison.
Today we have Taylor Hilst, who I've known since she was a little girl, actually. Here, she's also the
babysat. Taylor.
Pardon?
Don't tell me you babysat.
No, I didn't. Our children are approximately the same age.
Oh,
so,
that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
And she's the activities director at our island home, our skilled nursing facility, the only skilled nursing facility on Nantucket. So
Absolutely.
we invited her here to talk about her programs and
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and to tell us a little bit about life at our island home.
But before she does that, remember, I'm not a local, so I want some backstory
Right.
here. So your kids were together in school. So what's your backstory? Are you like me? You just kind of showed up, or have you always
I didn't
been
wash
here?
ashore. No, I was born here. I'm a Nantucket native. Is your son? Yes. Thought so. So my parents are wash ashores, and they met here and decided to stay, and had me. So I was born over at the old NCH, and grew up here, went to school here, graduated from high school, and I went to NYU for undergrad, and then straight through to grad school at Fordham, and I got a master's in social work.
And so you in social work, that was kind of what your real interest was.
It was, and I absolutely love the field. And I was working in mental health from when I graduated. Immediately, I moved back to Nantucket and started working for Fellowship Health Resources, which manages, it's a not-for-profit but privately owned mental health care company that runs a lot of group homes and day programs. So they do have one on Nantucket, or they did, and I worked there. And I really, really, really enjoyed that. I worked with a woman who left that field to take the activities director job at OIH, and she
that's
moved.
How you met her.
That's
what was her name?
Maris Keating.
Because
is my
I've met
predecessor.
her since she moved
Wonderful.
to the other island.
She moved to the other island, which
she and John Kerry. I don't know if this is a trend. I don't know, but yes. So I met Maris.
So Maris is
awesome.
awesome.
So you followed her to the island home?
We were coworkers, and she left where we were working to work at OIH, but then moved to the Vineyard for a relationship. She's now happily married with the baby, so it all worked out. Thank goodness. And when she was leaving,
and has another person there living with who was also from Nantucket, the painter.
Carrie Hallam.
Carrie Hallam.
Oh,
Carrie
wonderful.
Hallam. Yes.
My first car used to be his, actually.
Oh, that's
so
great.
it's all
That's great.
connected. I
That's
used to
gret.
drive a little smart car, and it
This
was
is
his.
such a small universe here. Okay,
So when she left OIH to move to the Vineyard, she contacted me and said, I think this is a little bit, out of your wheelhouse, but I think you would bring a lot to this program. I think it'd be a good fit. I think you'd be really, really happy here. So I said, okay, I'll come in for an interview. And then I realized how good of a fit it would be, and that, yes, it was a little bit of a departure from mental health. But that I really wanted to try it. So when I was offered the position, I took it, and that was 4 years ago. And I haven't looked back. I absolutely love it.
That's great.
Well, 4 years has been
4
there
years,
already.
yeah, April 2015. Yeah, I do also work part-time at Fairwinds, the counseling center here, just a few hours a week in the evenings to kind of stay current and still stay involved in mental health. But my main gig is OIH, and I absolutely love it.
So that was my parentheses. And I know Alison was asking you about, programs you worked on and current programs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Talk about that stuff because as we were talking before the show, we said one of the purposes of this show is for people who many people have been to our island home, right? But amazingly, a lot of people haven't. Even though they've grown up here, even though they're older, and maybe they're like, oh, it's a nursing home. I don't want to go to the nursing home, But so it's one of the purposes of the show is to have people have a sense of who these people really are, because you always think of kind of like Miss Ratchet, at these places as opposed to like, oh, these are really nice people, so you're not as afraid. Right?
Absolutely.
So talk about the programs and this stuff. Yeah.
So I would definitely say the first time you come into OIH, you realize that it's not, scary or intimidating at all. It's a small building. Everybody's like really warm and friendly, and our residents are just some of like the best people I've ever met. They're so wonderful to sit and talk with and get to know. We have kind of like a mixed population. Many other nursing homes, at least in the past, would have kind of like a memory care unit for residents with dementia and other cognitive problems, maybe a little bit separated from their alert and oriented people. That's not necessarily the case currently, and it's certainly not the case at our island home. We're kind of like a mixed milieu, and we make it work really, really well. And I think there's actually a lot of benefits to that. Yeah. So like I said, we do have, people who are there for kind of physical issues, mobility issues, and then people who are there because they're cognitively compromised in some way.
And why does that, I'm just curious, why does that work? Because once again, parenthetically, as everybody here knows, every time I talk about the island home, I say this is the best nursing home I've ever been to. People like go off island and they're like, oh, well, of course it's Nantucket. It must be really fancy. I go, no, you haven't been to our island home. You walk, I remember one of the first times I went in and the doors weren't, I shouldn't say this because of the Department of Public Health, but the power doors really weren't, it was a little sign that says pull on it to get in. And I was like,
it's not the fanciest facility.
But it's just so sweet. It's just so homey, so
it doesn't smell like a nursing home. It doesn't sound like a nursing home. It's not the fanciest looking building that you've ever seen, but the people really make it, and you can tell how good the care is when you come in and talk with the residents, and just seeing our staffing ratios, they're higher than you would find elsewhere in kind of like a profit money-driven facility.
One of the reasons why you get 5 stars from CMS, from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, in terms of this patient satisfaction, the quality of the nursing home.
Absolutely, definitely.
But why does it work? Because in so many nursing homes, you do isolate the folks who've got memory issues from the folks who've got physical issues.
Of course, there's challenges, but I think a lot of the times there's an opportunity for alert and oriented residents to kind of take on a caretaking role, chatting with someone who might have memory issues. We all need to have purpose, and kind of matching people up for friendships, I think, can be really valuable.
One thing that's always interesting to me at our island home is that so many people knew the person when they weren't there.
Exactly.
So, someone used to be the head nurse at the hospital, and someone used to do, it's amazing to see them relate to each other in those circumstances.
An alert and oriented resident who remembered a resident who was there for cognitive issues from a long time ago, when the long-term memory stays intact longer than short-term, they can help somebody reminisce about their previous life in a way that I couldn't, even though it's very much part of my job, finding out history from the family and talking with them about their earlier life. Someone who was actually there and saw it can draw things out of them that a younger staff person never would be able to. So in that way, it's really good for both.
That's really interesting. So it becomes like an extra volunteer pool.
Basically.
Almost for the working of the nursing home. And at the same time gives folks who are there also a sense of purpose, which is a really important purpose.
Right. Absolutely.
In terms of drawing out some of the role.
Sit with so-and-so and chat on this topic and things like
also,
that.
in the same vein, the people that come to visit often have known the more than one resident that
you come
are
in to
there.
See one person, and then Mrs. Smith, it's so great to see you, and that's so nice. And that's one thing that we want, is as much community involvement as possible. We can't change the fact that somebody can't walk and they can't go out and do all the things that they used to do. So the more that we can bring in to inside our walls, the better.
Tell us how you've been doing that.
Okay. Well, as many ways as we possibly can. Speaking of which, so our programming is really focused on quality of life and community integration. So one of the things that we do is every Monday we host a early childhood play group. A teacher who works for a Nantucket Community School comes in, we put a big gymnastics mat down on the floor, and we have young mothers bring their babies in. And they basically just do any type of play group that you'd normally see in an early childhood education center. We don't change anything. They just facilitate the groups with all the residents in a big circle around them. So the residents, of course, aren't down on the floor with them, but their wheelchairs are on. The very little ones are not afraid of wheelchairs or intimidated or anything like that. They waddle right up to them, try and share cookies. Talk to them, and seeing babies in a big group is just really great for our residents, and it kind of gets little ones acculturated to coming into a facility like that. So that's one of the ways we do it. We have the Boys and Girls Club come for
and this is, by the way, every week that you do this?
The play group is every week. It's every Monday at 10:30. In the summer months, we will, in July and August, we'll switch the day and time, but for most of the year, it's every Monday at 10:30. We have the Boys and Girls Club come in once a month during the school year. So that's kind of the older elementary school students. And they'll do bottle toss with the residents, an art project, sit and color, chat, just introduce themselves and get to know each other. That's typically like the older elementary school age children, like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade.
And like how many kids would come?
About 10 to 12 for about an hour. So that's once a month.
So it's a lot of kids.
In the summer, that increases when they're in Boys and Girls Club camp to once a week. So that's really wonderful because that's a very dynamic, energetic age group. And then I have several high school volunteers who come in and do a manicure group, our one-to-one friendly visitors, and that's weekly. I think I currently have 7 high schoolers who are coming in on at least a weekly basis.
And how do you find these people?
For the high schoolers, they typically reach out to me because they can get, I think they each need to do 20 hours of volunteer work to graduate, and we're obviously open seven days a week, so we don't close. So there's a lot of flexibility with hours. So it's a really good place for high school students to do their volunteer work, because it's not like it's an office that closes at 5 and you only have 1 hour to squeak it in. You could come for half the day on Saturday if you wanted to. We also,
by the way, what's the manicure group?
The high schoolers paint the ladies' nails. And it's awesome. So everyone who wants one gets a. Actually, I think I do have one guy who does it too. He just likes a buff and clear polish.
Yeah. So do they get to the high schools?
They do
really get creative on these nails?
The full file. They'll do little designs. They're really good at it. They love it. And we kind of set it up so that I usually have 3 do it at a time. So it's like little stations next to each other, so that they get the salon feel.
That's so great.
Wonderful. Yeah, they absolutely love it. And it's fun to chat with the kids. They really, really like it. Additionally, and this started recently, one of your board members applied for a grant to fund Liza Obremski, who does the Out to Sea television program, and Nan Puppets, for her to come in Nan Puppets. She does a puppet show that is typically geared towards children, but she's kind of modified it in a way where it works for kids and our population. So once a month, she comes in. She's done it twice now, and we'll keep going for several more months, where she comes in and we open it up to the community. We advertise it in the paper and on her social media, our social media.
Is this like hand puppets?
It's hand puppets, and I think she has a show on this channel. You should watch it.
Oh God, yes. Absolutely.
She's awesome. So a lot of community members have come in for that, and we want to do more of that. That's what I think we need more of.
And so that was by way of a grant through the Nantucket.
Yes, through the Nantucket Cultural Council and the Mass Cultural Council that Kathy Greeter, a Friends of Our Island Home board member, applied for and was granted. And it's been a phenomenal experience having community members come in and watch the show. In a similar vein.
Maybe we should talk to the folks here. Maybe we should do a Frank and Mary live, or Frank and Mary on the road, and we can go and see the Nan Puppet show. at the
That's a
island
great
home,
idea.
right?
Okay.
Could that be cool?
Yeah, we'll talk to
I
Liz.
mean,
I
they're
think
really
she would.
clever. They're the
I think
people.
she would
people
love
here are
that.
great about production. That might be a lot of
Oh
fun.
my gosh, and some of our, if you did a couple audience shots, I
That'd be
bet some
cool.
of our residents love to see themselves on TV.
Yeah, well, we'll make sure their nails are done first.
Oh, yes. We'll schedule it for the day after manicure day so everyone's looking their best. In a similar vein, Michelle Birmingham, who works at the Nantucket Ballet School, she does two things for us. She's amazing. She runs a senior ballerinas, kind of like it's actually going on right now, every Thursday at 11. Senior ballerinas. It's kind of like an armchair ballet-based exercise class, and they absolutely love it. I mean, she's a real, ballerina, and for her to be willing to come in and offer that for our guys who are interested in that is awesome. Additionally,
once again, I'm sorry, but I just can't imagine. So this is amazing.
It is
how
amazing.
do you do armchair ballet?
well, you can still move your toes into the positions. You can still,
I see.
not as graceful as she is, raise your arms. There's some
You're not doing any
stretching.
jumps,
No
you're
one's
not doing-
standing.
right.
If someone could stand and do it with a walker safely, that's fine. But for the most part, everything is seated and it's, set to classical music, and she's demonstrating the full moves. It's a really awesome class. They love it. She also, they do performances a few times a year. So they will, in addition to doing their performance at, like a local theater here, she'll bring it in to us too.
The Nutcracker.
The Nutcracker.
and-
Every holiday season they do the Nutcracker. They've done Poetry in Motion. I think we're working on, they're working on a Cinderella show, and eventually we'll bring that in. So that actually is another way that the community can come in, because, parents and friends, they can come see it at the nursing home too. Our dining room is really spacious and nice, and it's newer than the rest of the building. So that's a great place to host events that we're inviting community members to as well.
That's all.
Another way that we do it is the Nantucket Wheelers biking program, which Alison is a big part of. And it's hard to explain, but basically we have wheelchairs that you sit in that are a little bit different. They're different looking than a regular wheelchair, that attach to a motorized bike. And there's 4 in total.
Not like a motorcycle, but a motorized
Not a motorcycle.
bike
It looks like a
pedals.
regular
With
bicycle, but it
pedals.
has a motor.
Electric assist.
Electric assist. Yeah, so I think you could pedal it.
Oh yeah, you do
If
pedal
you-
it.
Oh.
But if you need to,
I say.
Yeah.
You're
would need a
going
lot
up a
of
hill. Right.
So during the summer, June, July, August, and the first couple weeks in September, we run, it's called Nantucket Wheelers, and it was organized by a woman who resides on Nantucket, Darcy Creech. She also owns Peter Beaton Hat Studio and is a very active volunteer. I inherited this program. It was already up and running when I took the position, but there's definitely a lot more residents participating now. So they take out 3 to 4 at a time, Monday through Friday, June, July, August, September, on a 2-hour bike ride.
Take
out.
Like out.
They go out. They get in the chairs. We hook up to the bikes. We actually, part of the rules for safety are it does need to be pathed the whole way. So
we have 30 miles plus of bike paths here, so we can go a lot
So
of
you can
places.
but we can't go directly from our island home. So we go to Don Allen.
You're not
in
going
a-
down like Orange Street.
No,
right?
that wouldn't
This would
work.
be a, this would be a
We
challenge.
could, but it would be very safe.
Well, for long, not for long.
Maybe
Yeah.
one day. That would be awesome
Yeah.
if we could leave straight from OIH. So they go to Don Allen in a van, hook up, that's where the bikes are stored, hook up to the motorized bike, and they go to Sconset, Pulpus, Surfside, get ice cream, and it's about 2 hours of being in the wind of the sun. One resident put it to me that even though she can't walk at all, that when she was out there on the bike, she felt totally free. She felt like she was flying because they're in the front. So they're not even seeing the heavy lifting that goes into this ride behind them. So they're just kind of open to the sun and wind, and it's...
So it's like a tandem?
Yes, exactly. They're in the front in a wheelchair, and then there's a bike in the back. So we
That's
run
gotta
that,
be
weather
another show.
permitting,
That's
5
gotta
days a
be
week.
another show. We could do a whole series
You could do a
of
whole
these
show on
about
Wheelers.
these, because
Easy.
that would be a wonderful thing.
It's a fantastic program. So our goal is, there are some weather restrictions. It really needs
Yeah.
to be
Yeah,
consistently.
no snow days.
Yeah,
Right,
no.
yeah, no,
So
right.
we don't go when it's rainy or too windy or cold, but we try to start the last week in May. So it should be starting soon. And a healthy amount of our residents participate in that. It's a really wonderful program. So that's an opportunity to get out and about. And we also do van rides. We basically go on sightseeing field trips every Friday morning to take them out and about.
That's all cool.
Yeah,
and then you
everywhere.
have some performers come in. I know
Yes.
that because that's one of the things that Alison is always raising money for at the Friends of Our Island
Absolutely.
Home. is to
Friends of
try
Our
to make
Island
that.
Home pays for some of our best programming and is very involved in volunteer recruitment, which is really, really, really helpful. So we try to have live music. My goal is 3 times a week, and we usually hit that. So I would imagine that's a bit more than the industry standard out there. You know, 'cause
Yeah, I think the industry
I don't
standard-
know for
so.
sure, but
It's
you
like
know,
once a month. You know, I go to a lot of nursing
it's
homes.
really,
You never see this.
so it's really wonderful. Yeah, we usually try and do it. 3 times a week, and I'd say we're averaging that. Sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 2. You know, based on people's schedule. But having performers come in and do a show for all of our guys is really, really special.
And,
so we
and
love
all
that.
of the performers just get such a rise out of it. I mean, people will say
Yeah,
to
that's
me,
like my favorite place to perform. You know,
oh, it's great.
it's great.
Yeah.
I suppose if you're a performer, because it's an unusual audience, but it's a very attentive audience typically.
Very.
You know, they're really getting focused on the music, right?
So we try to bring in as much as we can because it's not possible to take everybody out at once all of the time. So the more, the better. I think.
So one of the things we talked, the 3 of us talked about, you know, at the beginning was also, as you think about it now, you've been here 4 years. I'm sure you say to yourself, how did that happen? You know, I always
of
tell
an eye.
people, whenever you're thinking, oh my God, this is going to be in 5 years, you know, it's going to be forever. I always say, look back 5 years, tell me how long that was, right?
Because it accelerates too. The older you get.
Really accelerates, right? So as you have a feel for this, and you obviously have a real feel for this. Where do you imagine this going? What other things do you think would be beneficial, or are you thinking about if you had the resources?
If I had
Because
the
you know
resources.
Alison always can get you the resources.
That's true. If I had the resources,
Once again, so the folks that don't know, so Alison chairs the Friends of Our Island Home, right? As well as having her other hat, which is the chair of the Council on Aging, right? So.
And then there's my real job. But
And then there's the
yeah.
Oh God forbid
What,
our
you
day
make
jobs.
$1?
Our day jobs. I know. Yeah. When my friends at Miracle Connell say, and you're doing what again in these shows, right? How is this related to law exactly? Well, you know, it's all part of this. So what do you think?
okay, if
about?
I had unlimited money and people had unlimited time resources to devote to us, I would love to increase our kind of healing arts offering. Currently, Friends of Our Island Home pays for a massage therapist to come in and do kind of light massage on the residents. It's so, so, so wonderful. They get so much out of it. If I had unlimited money, I would have her and others there every single day, because that's something that's delivered individually. We could have 5 at once going.
Yeah, talk
And-
about what that person does now.
So she'll come in, for a couple hours in the morning. She'll do shoulder massage, hand massage. She can do, full back or larger if it's, appropriate for the resident. She sings while she does it. She'll talk with them, reminisce if that's appropriate. She'll be quiet if that's what they want. It's basically just therapeutic massage for, usually she'll do about 15, 20 minutes per person at a time.
And this is Berta
And then
Scott,
This is Berta Scott.
who-
She is
who-
like an angel.
again, she
We
loves
love her.
She loves it. It's like the high point of her. She just can't say enough good things about
If
it.
we could,
Is
if we
that
could
her
afford
day
her
job
every day.
also? Does
Yeah,
she-
she is
that-
a masseuse by trade,
but
and
she-
she fits us in. And if we could pay her to come in every single day, we would, and others too.
Because there'd be a demand.
Because
for
there'd
it,
be a
right?
demand.
Because for
We
those
absolutely love
players,
it.
I suppose especially for the folks who've got memory issues. Oh, no, but really for both. If you've got physical or memory issues.
And it's also
'cause
touch.
Yeah, touch. Think about it.
Right.
How important a hug feels. Something like that as we get older. So I would love to see more of that. I would love to have children in every single day. Monday through Sunday for at least a little while. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, a structured group where we're focused on this activity, but kind of just, come in for a visit and sit and chat and have a cup of tea. Things like
How would you imagine that? Would you imagine that with like high school kids or with younger kids?
everybody. With the high school kids, we do usually focus on like an activity or like a project. But with the really little ones, our residents just seeing babies, seeing toddlers is really good for them. It just puts such a smile on their face. Like anything that everyone can recognize when someone's cute. And so a resident could be completely
they're
incapable
all
of
cute,
interacting in any other way other than just, looking. They may not even be verbal anymore and would still get something out of that. So the really little ones are very important to us, as are children of all ages. But if I could have babies in there every day, that's so good for every single one of them.
That's really exciting.
It's really, really wonderful.
That's really exciting.
And, I would have, this is just getting greedy. I'd have live music every day.
You would. You just kind of, you just
built
build
it
it
into
on
the
all the
schedule,
time.
yep.
I get it.
Absolutely.
I get it.
Music is therapeutic for everybody. You can enjoy it, whatever your cognitive abilities are.
That is an astonishing. So now we're going to do an ad. Okay,
All right.
We're going to do an ad. So she, last year, did this great job about getting actually a set of local businesses to contribute to the music program, so that they could provide that music program every year. And I know that we're going to be doing this again, because she got me to be on this board too. So that Friends of Our Island.
I recruited Arthur to join us on the Friends of Our Island Home Board, so it's great to
And I
have.
was such a wallflower before I was on, and it's like brought me out. It's like
Fresh
yeah, it's just terrific. So we may be, if you're a business person, we may be talking to you about seeing if you can support this, because we've figured that the run rate for this program is about $800 to $1,000 a month. So we're looking for some people who will sponsor like a month of this program,
month of activities.
so that Taylor can keep growing this, which is just this astonishing program.
Always do better. You can always do more.
Well, with a person like her, you can always do more. Taylor's not looking for less things to do.
No.
Taylor's looking for
Pile
more.
on my plate.
Right. Taylor's looking for more things to do. Sometimes it requires money, because we've all got to live. We all got a day job. So for performers and stuff, for the massage person, we got to live.
Pay people what they're worth.
Yeah, pay people what they're worth. Exactly right. Which means that if you've got some and you want to support this, we're going to be looking for that support. So you may be hearing from us. Oh, this was great.
Yes.
I love the bikes.
Oh,
I
it's
gotta
awesome.
see.
You
we
could do a
gotta
whole
do
show
that
just
show.
on that.
And I love the little kids. Oh, we gotta do that.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so much fun.
Put it on the list. It's on
Thank
the
you.
list. It's on the list.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. This was wonderful. Yeah. Everyone come on down and visit.
They'll come
Come
back.
visit.
Say that right over there.
Please come visit us at our island home. We would love to have you.
And thank you so much for watching. We look forward to seeing you on the next installment of Frank and Mary on Nantucket. Thank you.